Hey, my name is Dr. Raghu Srinivasan. I'm an associate professor in the mechanical engineering department. I'm also the department chair of the ME program. One of the biggest misconceptions of being a mechanical engineer, so people think that mechanical engineers just deal with cars and automotives, but that's not where we stop. Obviously, we do automotive stuff, but there's also other things that we get into, from being aerospace to robotics, corrosion, which I do, materials, degradation, climate control, like the instrumentations behind that. So this field is so broad. So that the biggest misconception that I get from general audience, general public is like, oh, you're a mechanical engineer, so you do know how to work with cars. And then yeah, but that's not the only thing that we do. So there are other things that we do too. So from my perspective, what engineering is, it's like the science and the math behind everything, and then like as an engineer we take those basic science and make that into reality by making components, infrastructures, building computers and whatnot. So it's the bridge between the theoretical knowledge and the practical solution is what I think like what engineering is. So mechanical engineering specifically is we design things that move, and then like from my perspective, mechanical engineering is one of the broadest. So we deal with systems, controls, HVAC, the heating, ventilation, air conditioning, manufacturing, materials. So it's one of the broadest fields. And then we deal with designing, analyzing, and also what is the environmental impacts on that. You can go into a varied disciplines. Like I mentioned before, this is one of the broadest field. So me being the case here, is like I'm a mechanical engineer, but I deal with manufacturing, I deal with materials selection, I deal with like the materials performances for corrosion and stuff. In general, you can get into fields that ranges from aerospace to automotive industry to robotics, biomechanics, oil and gas. So the field is kind of like wide open, and mechanical engineers kind of like get into these fields after they graduate. As an engineer in general, it bridges the gap between the theoretical knowledge and the practical solution. So it kind of like gives me that sense of satisfaction when we can visualize something in the lab or in the computer labs or in our theoretical sense. And then it kind of like gives me the satisfaction when we see that put in place. So when folks use this, like by building bridges or like building aircrafts or building automobiles, like what we see behind here. So that kind of like gives us that perspective of like, okay, we can take things from table to actual workplace. So as engineers, like the world is evolving. So every day is changing from a climatic perspective, from where you live. So we live here in a very unique Alaskan climate. So we tend to deal with things that change every day. So we have to adapt ourselves. So there are other things that kind of like help you to improve what you learned in your program. So people go into graduate school where they can do more research on a specific area that they're interested in it. So that's how they kind of like gain more knowledge. And also, as an engineers, we kind of like encourage our students to write the fundamental engineering FE certification before they graduate. And then once they get into the workforce, they get this chance to write their PE, which is the professional engineering. So there's a continuous learning in the process, so by which you can actually start learning more things, you can innovate, be more creative, and all those things.